Hello, welcome to Moxie Journal. My name is Calyx, and I go by Moxie sometimes. I use she, her pronouns. I'm so glad you are here with me today for this Watery Deck edit. I'm going to do a little bit of an overview of Folkloric Waters Tarot, which is the newest in the series by Lennox Rees. Her first one in this series was Folkloric Forest. We'll talk about that one a little bit too. And then we'll talk about the decks that I've been using, sometimes pairing, but really kind of using overall. And for me, that's kind of the difference between a deck edit and just a pairing. I use both, and I don't know what the official definition of deck edit is. The first person I heard use the term was Krista over at Krista Chronicles, and then but I have heard other people use it, Tegan at Animals and Arcana, and Lennox Rees herself. I actually really like the way Lennox defines it. She has a great way of putting that together, but did I write that down? No. So the way I think about it is a group of decks that I mix and match and I use for a period of time. Sometimes it's like based on time, like I used to do it monthly. A group of decks I'd put in a basket that would all work together, that I just kind of reach for and grab and put together depending on the day or how I felt, and then I would change it up every month, and then I kind of moved that to a little bit more seasonal, and then the seasons got a little bit more flexible. I find myself organically putting together deck edits right now more around a topic or a theme, and this one is around the deck, specifically Folkloric Waters Tarot, but also I'm at a time in my life with what's going on that's a little blue, that's a little bit watery, that's a little bit stormy. So all of this about the water kind of works. I know we are in Leo season. In fact, today as I'm filming is Lammas, which is a little bit more summer and corn and harvest, but I'm still back in Cancer season. And so I'm still all about the ocean flowing through. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Folkloric Waters Tarot, and pardon my voice, it's a little rusty. In fact, it's one of the reasons that I have held off filming. Life has been lifing, so thank you for my friends who have checked on me, and for those of you, my Tarot Tube friends, who have said, hey, I miss your videos, I really do appreciate that. If you're new here, you'll just kind of have to ignore some of the things I say, but it does kind of play into it. I'm a little rusty with filming, and so this may be a little bit rambly. If I can, I'll put timestamps in the description box. Is that what that's called? The show notes, whatever. But I may just ramble. It may not be cohesive or helpful. So, but I'm going to do an overview. I'm going to talk about the decks I've put together, and then I'm going to talk about a deck I want to put with this, but I don't have yet, and then we'll just see how it goes. So here we go. Starting the overview now. Folkloric Waters is, I just got it on Kickstarter, and you may have seen it. It's probably all over YouTube. I'm trying to get back into watching everybody's videos, but this one is 2 years, I think 2 years ago, she came out with Folkloric Forest, and it follows the same sort of format, same amazing production quality. It's a Kickstarter. I do believe you can order this deck from her website. I probably should have checked that out before I started filming, but I will put the information in the show notes, the description, in case you don't have this deck and you want it. And then the production quality, Lennox is a designer extraordinaire, so attention to detail is just part of how she moves through this world. I'm not a fan of tuck boxes. You may have heard me gripe about them before, but if I have to have a text box, I want one that Lennox approves of, because this one works just fine. I love that this looks like a little seal that you have to break, but it's not actually. The outside is got this nice coating. You can see I've been carrying this around, even though it's pretty new to me. I have given it some wear. I'm not a girly who puts tarot decks in bags very much, because I have one of those brains that if I put it in a bag, it's just out of my brain, or I have bags that look too much alike. I'm pretty word oriented, so I would love bags with really pretty colors. I love art and that kind of thing, but I would also need, and maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll get some bags and just put a tag on the outside with the names. But so far, I've just been carrying this around in my bag pretty much everywhere I go. Still, it's pretty sturdy. The deck comes, it's a standard tarot size. The cardstock is amazing. I'm not the person to talk about cardstock, but these shuffle beautifully. I think they have some sort of core in them. I could look here, maybe. Anyway, maybe go to somebody else's video if you really want specifics on the core. They have this beautiful backing that's got, I don't know if it's showing in the light, it's got a little bit of gilding, sparkle. The edges are this beautiful matte watery blue. Comes with the book. And I love Lennox's guidebook. It's it's parallel to the Folkloric Forest. For each entry, she has the name, and it is Rider-Waite-Smith system based, but she has renamed some of the cards. For instance, in this deck, the pillar is the emperor, the order is the hierophant. So the meanings are here with some names. At the top, she has 3 keywords for you. Then she has a paragraph about what's going on in the image, about what you see, and then talking about how that connects to the meaning. And the bottom paragraph is about how that connects to folklore. And when she has it, I don't know if I said that, these decks about the folkloric are based predominantly in her exploration of her Finnish heritage. So that's where her folklore is anchored. But she draws in other sort of more, as she says, Northern European mythology. And if you're new to my channel, you may not know this about me yet, but if you've been here before, I'm sure you've heard me talk about mythology. My grandfather's a mythology professor. I love comparative mythology and folklore. It is just one of the things that makes my heart happy. So pretty much everything about this deck is right up my alley. Finally, what I love is that at the bottom of each entry, Lennox gives us the name of the painting, who it was by, where they're from, and when it happened. So that is so much information spot on in this great little book. And it does have a finish on the cover of the book, and it's really hardy. And this part is paper. It's not glossy, but this part is that nice coated cover, which is my favorite way to have a little book. I don't like the pages that are slick here, and this one, it must be like, maybe you can see it's stitch bound here. I have some of these little books that I love the book, but the papers are glossy, so I can't write in them, which I love to do. And if I open them too much, then the pages kind of pop out. So that has not happened to this one. And again, I have used this a lot. So, all right, so that's my... that is my joy, my telling you how much I love this deck. It shuffles beautifully. Now, I will say that I'm not going to be great at shuffling on camera right now. I've got some pain in my body, but so I have to be kind of careful and go slowly when I shuffle. So don't take that as a sign of the deck, but look at how beautiful this is. It's so satisfying. It's just lovely. And you can see I'm not very good, and I kind of wrench them together a little bit, and still they're in great shape. This is a curated art deck. Oh my gosh, look at this Ten of Air, this Ten of Swords. She has this sword icon up here. Let me kind of get it close. You can see there's gilding in sort of a frame, but I love, do you see? I love the detail, right? Her little foot sticks out. I love this sort of slightly melodramatic pose. I think this is beautiful. And these decks, the Folkloric Forest is very similar in terms, parallel really, in terms of its curated art. It is, it has the border, it has the gilding, all of that. But one thing I think she does even better in this Folkloric Waters is that, you know, some of these antique paintings can be really dark, and it's almost like Lennox has given us some extra light. And this one is easy for me to see. Folkloric Forest Tarot, I actually have to be really careful and use in bright light, probably just because of my eyes and where I am. I still love it. It's still easy to read. I just have to have good light. This one I have been able to use even in the sort of softer light beside my bed at night. Oh, this one, 10 of Earth. This is one of my favorite 10 of Earth, 10 of Pentacles cards ever. Like, I love everything that's going on. And actually, you know what? I'm going to read you this 10 of Earth right up, because I love its ecosystem, legacy, and prosperity. The 10 of Earth represents a strong system built and protected over generations. It's the complete success package. Each creature depends on others in a rooted relationship, from predator and prey, shelter and growth, and decay and renewal. This wealth isn't from a single treasure. It's from a place that supports life long after living. Like, isn't that just amazing? I just read the middle paragraph. But this is just one of the reasons that this deck is speaking to me. In addition to the images being really spot on, perfect, when I read the guidebook and I hear the succinct, however you say that word, the pithy, the insightful, really direct way that she describes the scene and why she chose it and why it speaks to this meaning, it's just amazing. This 4 of air, look at that, that rest in the moment, right? You don't see swords hanging overhead like you do in traditional imagery, but the meaning comes across, right? It's still wet. This is a temporary respite. This is, this could get lifted and be sailing. The storm could come again any moment. But for now, you've got a moment. So it's not a particularly people-y deck, but it does have some people in it. I think just the right amount for me to, it's 5 of Earth. I think she does the 5s particularly well. That's often, the 5s and 7s are hard for me to interpret, probably because they are a little bit more disruptive, right, in the cycle of the story. Look at that 10 of Fire. And I just think that the images are beautiful. So this is, as I was saying, the 5s are often challenging for me. I'm going to read you this one too. 5 of Water. All right. So burden, grief, regret. And then she talks about the image. Standing barefoot upon the weathered pier, the wind pulls at the figure's skirts. The dark waves splash repeatedly against the pilings. The child is held firmly close in care, both of them anchored against the cold air and sea, staring out into the uncertainty. Even as the storm has passed, the heaviness of what's lost and the commitment to what must be protected stand alongside them. Like, it's a description of what you're seeing, but it's also the poetry, why it resonates, why this image was chosen. And the 5 of Water, here's the meaning, right? The 5 of Water is carried by sorrow without being crushed beneath it. It's like a silent resilience, never alone. Just silent resilience. And this painting is called Waiting by August Hagborg, who is Swedish. And I just... So I will try not to just read you and tell you everything, but if you haven't gotten a chance to get your hands on this deck, I want you to see a little bit of what we're working with. And there was one, I should have pulled it out. Look at the Hermit card. I love the Hermit card. I think it's one of the most popular ones, particularly for some of us. I think there tend to be, this is the one I was looking for. I think we tend to have a lot of hermits here on YouTube. It's a way for us to, as creators, to connect without having to people too much. So the Hermit card, I think, speaks to us. But I wanted to particularly point out this 7 of Water, which is, I love that she has the icon up here. So the traditional suit is sometimes called the 7 of Cups. I particularly, personally, I'm an elemental witch. I love to work with the elements. So the fact that it's water also is one of the reasons I love it. But when I first saw this 7 of Water, I thought, what an interesting choice, right? So, right, if we think about the traditional Rider-Waite Smith here, I've got my little Centennial Smith, Waite Smith card right here. And we have someone who's sort of overwhelmed with these choices, this idea that, you know, we've got a choice, but are, you know, is this illusion? Like, are we seeing what's really on offer? What if we choose wrong? So it can be about being overwhelmed, or it can be about maybe what you see is not really what you get to choose. So, and then this card of just these waves out in the middle of the water, I was like, that is an interesting choice. And when I read it, I just, again, I'm going to nominate Lennox for geniushood, like sainthood only for smart people, and poetic people. Here, this is the image, and the meaning is still choice, possibility, and uncertainty. Endless layers of waves rise and dissolve into the next stretch of sea. There's no shoreline, there's no direction, there's only movement and changing light. As much as the water obscures, it also reflects open options that at times feel promising and at other times confusing. Each wave surges as perception and emotions shift. With so much openness, the seven of water starts to lose its shape. Dreams cloud into endless doubt. Imagination extends too far. Direction and clarity are difficult to grasp. What's real and what's a projection? The decision must align with the heart and not with the impulse. Choices stay afloat. Beyond the physical danger of being lost at sea is the symbolic meaning of overwhelm. An illusion folklore often portrays the waters as seductive and misleading. Even when heroes become stranded, escape requires humility. Like, that's just, and it's an October Day by Frank Knox Morton Wren. Like, that's amazing. I have done open water swims. I used to do triathlon, and being in that water as an individual, I will tell you, it looks very different when you're watching somebody do an open water swim on TV, or you're in a boat and you just at least have the boat. If you are in that water and it's surging around and you can't really see and you can't tell directions, like, it's the perfect Seven of Cups, even though it's completely different from this particular image. The resonance of the meaning just works perfectly for me. So that's, thank you for bearing with me as I just went on and on and on about how much I love this deck. And what I thought I'd do now is show you, as I've been using it, what I have, some of the decks I've been mixing and matching with it. You may have already seen the Seashell Oracle. I think a couple of people, maybe Lennox herself showed this one. I think maybe she did. And maybe I saw this on Erin Linto's channel as well as a pairing. And it's, you know, it's right on target. Oh, so this is the Seashell Oracle. It's by Broccoli Mag. And the readings I've done with just these two decks have been amazing. That Abalone, Wonder, Vibrancy, Surprise. Oh yeah. So visually, it works really well. And I do like to read. I like to have my tarot. I either like to have two tarot decks at the same time, or I like to have two voices of tarot with one oracle. That kind of, I center here and then I kind of read it across. Or sometimes I look at these two first, and then this adds another layer for me, you know. So anyway, so I think that this is really beautiful. And then I have also a little bit sort of on the nose with the water theme. The other oracle I have been adding in with this is called the Dreaming Waves Oracle Deck by Nawan Junhasiri. I don't know if this one is still in print. I know I didn't get the tarot, otherwise I would have been able, if I had been able to get the tarot, I would be showing that too. So perhaps this oracle is out of print, honestly. I forgot to look that up before I started making a video too. Again, I'll get better. I'll get back into the swing of things. But let me look at this cute, I've got the whale tail stuck, there we go, in the box, but I love this. So I like to, and it's got this great little guidebook, but this is the one, it is sewn, but the pages are glossy and I don't like it as much. And I sometimes do this. Sometimes I even split the tarot deck and I have sort of 2 layers of 3 cards. And sometimes I look at this and then I kind of pull down and then I think of this as supporting this. And then, you know, I'm looking at Cowrie and then, which is prosperity, protection, and trade. And this is legacy and connection, right? So this is another layer of that oracle. And then I've got the justice. I love this justice with the anchor. And again, for me personally, these decks, water decks, have a particularly personal resonance. I'm from a family that is, we have 3 living veteran generations of the U.S. Navy. We have 4. I am the 3rd generation of 4, and then my son has just gotten out of the Navy. So I grew up, my family, my parents are from Southern California, and I learned to swim in the Pacific, and which is a very deep ocean. And there's this story about, you know, my grandfather throwing me into the water, into the ocean when I was 6 months old, and me just paddling around. And I always loved that story. Oh, I'm part mermaid, right? I love to be in the water, and I'm not scared of the ocean. In fact, I'm a little bit more creeped out by lakes. And I mean, I was a competitive swimmer in pools in the 80s and, well, really the 70s, late 70s. And so I feel very comfortable in the water, but I really love the ocean, particularly. All that said, when I had a baby of my own and my baby was 6 months old, there was no way I was going to throw that baby in the Pacific of all waters, that cold, deep, mysterious Pacific. I mean, I think the Pacific, I think the warmest it's ever been when I've been in is like 57 degrees, and that's at the end of summer. It is cold and it's very deep. The Atlantic is much, well, the North Atlantic, I think all the waters can be treacherous and difficult with storms, but the Atlantic, just as a, I could be showing more cards as I'm chit-chatting to you. The Atlantic, at least sort of where I am now on the East Coast, is much kinder. It's much gentler. You can walk out forever and see, oh, look at this. Distance and turbulence, entanglement and trap. And then we have an 8 of Earth and the 5 of Air with the Hermit and the Queen of Air over here. Oh. So I like looking at this overall. I like seeing how the colors play, the light with all the sort of watery themes. I do like having tarot cards, oracle cards that have meanings on the top, especially when I'm doing a big spread and I'm kind of diving in deep. I think that that's really nice to have to kind of get a snapshot. And then I kind of go into the guidebooks. I do tend to use my guidebooks. I tend to not do a whole lot of just really quick flash in the pan readings. I do a daily draw that's just 1 card. And for that, it's very quick. It's a deck I've been using for years and feel really comfortable with. When I'm sitting down and doing something a little bit more reflective, like using this Watery Deck edit here, it's because I've got a little more time. I've got something else going on. So just to let you know how I use it, I think sometimes that's helpful to give you a broader context, so that, you know, because I don't usually look and go through like 3 or 4 of these all at once, right? Like I'm showing you a couple different options, but I would usually just pull one reading and then sit with it and then look at it visually, maybe write about what I see in the images, and then come back maybe later that day or the next day with the same, and then dive a little bit into the guidebook. Oh. Okay, I will try not to just keep telling you how brilliant I think these images are that that Lennox has found for our Folkloric Waters. But I love everything about this. I love the way these are all here. I love this little one peeking in over the frame. I love sea lions. I'm a scuba diver too, triathlon, scuba. I love being in the water. And sea lions, again, I learned to scuba dive in the kelp forest on the Monterey Bay. And there are sea lions all over, and they bark. And I was on a military base too, and so there were Marines. And the first time I heard sea lions, I actually thought it was the Marines because they do this little ruh, ruh, ruh thing, but it turned out to be sea lions down on the on the coast, and they are very big in the water. Like when you're underwater, you can't really tell where the sound is coming from. And my dive master, I was looking around, and he kind of points up, like he's like, look above you. And I looked up, and there was a sea lion like in my face, and it barked, and it was so big, and it was so fast in the water. They're so powerful, and they're very territorial. So they'll come up, and they'll kind of carve out a little space, and then they'll kind of push other sea lions away, and they're very fun to watch. If you're ever on the coast and you see some sea lions, you can just sit and have a leisurely afternoon and watch them. But I love this card. This is the Seven of Fire, which I think of as sort of the stand your ground card. And so the meaning here comes through because they've kind of carved this space out. They've fought for this territory, and now they're defending it with their barks and kind of pushing the others away. Anyway, I think it's beautiful. And then power, luxury, and effort. And then we have the Page of Fire. So we have that one. So this reading has been, this combination has been really perfect. So, okay, so let me get you some others. That was the Seashell Oracle, the Dreaming Wave Oracle, and of course our Folkloric Waters. Another thing I like to do, and this one's maybe a little bit different. It's I have been working with the Baroque Tarot as well, and I've been using it just as a pairing with the Folkloric Waters, but I've also been using it in sort of bigger spreads, and I'll show you. This is a deck by Lamucci. It's the Design Studio. I think I ordered this. I didn't get it from Kickstarter. I got it from Lamucci.com. I think they are in Italy. The creator's name is Ezra Dagtican Mert, EDM Design. But visually, these cards, these are very luxurious. Have this very shiny, but it's soft. There's nothing. This is really smooth. Almost feels waxed on the edges. It's called Baroque or Baroque. I guess if you're British, maybe you say Baroque. But when I say Baroque, I think of our past president. So, which is a good thing in my book. Anyway, so I like to have tarot with tarot. I like to have the opportunity to have the same part of the story, right? One of the 78, have it repeat, to have that voice. And these cards are, they work for me. They have almost the same type of, what do you call this? It's not, the font is different, right? This one's in italics, and this one's got the framing, but they work well. I'm going to put it down just a little bit, and I kind of put them, well, sometimes I just pair them and I do them like this, right? And I just read them to a cross. But then other times I use them as a base like this. So I have tarot, 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 and I usually have Folkloric Waters split kind of up at the top, and I just put the Baroque Tarot down here. And then I pull, and you can just see, I'll just show you some of the art. For me, this deck is, it's this cool combination of, it's a little bit dreamy, it has people in it, but they're a little shadowy, like their features are, they're not very distinct, but then some of the details about the other pieces are very distinct. So it's a little bit of soft focus with the right crispness, particularly like with the writing. It's very easy for me to get a lot out of these images. That for whatever reason, this style is really good for me. The people are in it, but they're not too challenging or too peoply for me. Again, to give you context, I have a hard time with very peoply decks, but this one is, and it's based on the, a little bit closer in terms of the traditional imagery in the Rider-Waite-Smith as well as the meanings, but it's softer. It's a little bit antique painting like, and so I think it goes very well with kind of the feel of Folkloric Waters without being another curated art deck. For me, sometimes I have a hard time. I can't really put a lot of curated art decks together because particularly if they have the same image but used on different cards, like that just kind of messes with my brain. So for me, this is really nice, and I have been doing it. This may look a little strange to you, but it's been some really good readings. This is the Pathwork Oracle, and this is by Daniel Herman. I don't know anything about them, but Anaturian. I got this deck because I love Anaturian. And one of the reasons I even thought about this deck is because Anaturian's art is very watercolor-like to me. I'll go here in the middle. And so I've been reading like this, right? So I kind of have this tarot story here with the central focus, loving kindness for difficult people. Little mantra, may you be filled with peace. But then I guess we can flip these over, right? Ace of Air, Page of Earth, and Six of Cups. And I usually do read like this, but you could read in whatever way. And I just think that this has worked. I'm knocking decks all over the place. Maybe because this is soft, because these are antique, because this is sort of watercolor. This text here doesn't bother me in the center. And then I've got the gold here. I don't know, I've just gotten some really powerful readings with this grouping. Again, it's a specific outfit, my capsule wardrobe of decks. The order, I love these. And this death card has been really helpful. One of the reasons I have been away from TarotTube, and I'll do a little preview here. The other deck edit I'm going to do is about grief. We had an unexpected death in my family about a month ago, and it was my children's father, actually. So my ex-husband got sick unexpectedly, and we got the message that they didn't think he was going to make it, and I had to fly my children. I went with my children, and we flew to Phoenix, and we spent a week in the ICU, and then he passed, and I'm really grateful that he passed peacefully, surrounded by his children and his wife, my children's stepmother, and she and I get along great. We have for years, and I mean, he and I, in fact, my divorce from him was final 25 years ago yesterday, so it's been a long time, and we have co-parented very well together, but it's been really hard. Been dealing with my children losing their father, and my children are in their late 20s and early 30s, and my middle son is having the first grandchild on our side and expected in October, and now he's facing a world where his dad doesn't get to be a part of that. And so these cards, particularly taking the time to sit and do a reading, and this death card, I just think, like it says it, these are just the bones of the whale that are left, and you have the cycle of life, and you have this sort of bleached out sands here, but also this remembering that this is in the middle of the major arcana. It's one stage that life does come back through, and it's just been a really peaceful image. And for me, the sea has that much power and depth, and it's just a place that I turn for comfort and challenging. I mean, the sea is can be really hard. There's, it can float you, but it can also swamp you. And so it's been, oh, and look at this. As I'm saying all of this, I get a reading sort of like this. The submerged is like the hangman, the perspective, and look at this person swimming in. And then we have the Ten of Cups, but we also have the Two of Earth, right? So we have some choices, and we have this cycle, right? The completion of this emotional place here, and in the middle, compassion for self. May I be free from suffering. And we have this sort of shadow image and meeting. I just think this is this has been very powerful. So just a couple more so you can kind of get some more ideas about the way these images work together. And sometimes this deck in the center is a brighter color than either of these other decks, either the Broke or the Folkloric Waters, and that's actually suited me. It may not suit you, but it suited me. Oh, this star card. Okay. All right. I have one more deck to show you, and I mix this in with lots of decks. So but just since I don't have that much room on my desk, and you can see how it might be mixed, I'm going to show you the Delian Oracle by Welkin that I have put this with. I'm going to show it as a pair, but I have mixed it in. Often, because the Delian Oracle does not have, oops, missing part of my deck, because it doesn't have keywords or titles or anything on the cards, and I work with it, I love it. I just don't work with it. I haven't ever worked with it for a long enough time in a row where the images become automatic. Some of them I'm very familiar with. I tend to kind of get on a kick and pull some of the same cards. But this oracle, if you haven't seen it, it's by Chris. The publishing company is Welkin. The artist is Chris. Oh, I'll think of his name. Anyway, really beautiful. And look at this box. Look at that. I just opening this box, and again, this is mythologically themed folkloric deck, right? The Delian Oracle, the Oracle at Delos, and they look like this. I'll put the box over here, and I tend to do, one in the center, and these just look visually, they're beautiful together, and there's a lot of detail, so I tend to write about the images that I see, and then I go to they do have a number on them, and so you can look at 57, Nikia, Philotes, the personified spirit of friendship and platonic affection. Philotes is also sometimes considered the spirit of sexual intercourse. Ooh, of course I pick a racy one. She refused animal sacrifice and dealt largely with social interaction alongside her siblings, deceit and retribution. And then conviviality, neighborliness, friendliness down here. And so that's interesting to think about with the Three of Water and the Knight of Water. Oh, look, we have a lot of, just come across here with a lot of water, with a lot of emotional pieces in there. Oh, this one, look at this imagery. So right away you can see there is some conflict, there is some screaming happening, and then look at this mirror with the Five of Air here, and the Ace of Fire. So what do we say for 58? Nike, the winged goddess of victory, and then triumph, accomplishment, vanquishment, ascendancy, consummation. And if it's reversed, and I don't often read reverses, but I always read the reversal meaning in the cards so that I kind of think of it as part of the whole. But carnage and slaughter, extermination, savagery, and atrocity, overkill. So that is that's an interesting grouping. I'll flip a few more just so you can see. But again, I don't tend to do several of these in the row. Oh, and I did shuffle these a little bit. I tend to do sort of one, or often I will pull a Delian Oracle card, and then maybe I'll use that for the week, and I'll day by day layer the tarot, and I'll use these and then one of the Baroque, and then sort of build on it through the week. So again, that's just what has worked for me. But oh, this one, I love interesting, that 9 and the Knight of Fire. I bet that's Lita, the Swan. And then last one. Oh, interesting to get sort of all human figures in this one. So sometimes I've done two where I didn't even look up the meaning. I really just went on what the colors or the movement or the drapery or the animals or whatever, what that spoke to me and how it came across. Because I think once it was because I had just brought the cards and not the whole deck with me. And I think another time I just enjoyed that process so much, and I just wasn't at a space where I could do a lot of studying, and I just sort of wrote about where I was and how it hit me. So vibes only. So I think that these cards lend themselves to that, but also there's more if you want that. So let's see, did I miss one? Oh, I have one more that I was going to try. Actually, I only thought of this one today, and I looked at it a little bit, but I haven't actually read with it. So you can tell me what you think. This is the Oceanum Arcani by, I think, is this her name, Taylor Bren? Yeah, Taylor Bren. And this is the ocean one. There's an earth one. There is a fire one, I think, igneous. And I love this one. The other ones look kind of dark for me, but you know, again, I love the ocean, so these ones, maybe this won't work. I know this one actually works very well with the Pathwork Oracle with the images by Anaturian. I have enjoyed them. I don't know, maybe this, oh, that's actually kind of fun. The Devil and the King of Air, 9 of Fire. Yeah, so maybe. The colors are a little bit different, but I think that could be interesting. So this deck is all underwater. It's all creatures. It's a little bit sort of more illustration, slightly cartoon, not in a bad way, but you know, this sort of more modern drawn style than these antique. Oh, I do love this High Priestess card. Look at that. This is interesting. 10 of Water, the High Priestess, and the 2 of Air. Oh. Yeah, see, I could write a lot about that. I don't know that this one works quite as seamlessly as the others, but I do know it works with some of my other decks in this edit. And so I may add it as I go along. So those are my decks that I have to show. I will be interested to be watching other people's videos. Excuse me. Oh, I so apologize. If I can edit that out, I will. But I have also had some good things happen. I didn't want to just leave you on this like sad note. I've had some lovely family things happen as well. But it's just been a really big year. I traveled, I got to go, I didn't say a lot before I left, but in May, so I stopped filming. I didn't film in May or June or July, and here we are right at the beginning of August filming. I had a big birthday in July, and in May, I got to go to Russia and Turkey. If you have been here and following my adventures before, you know I went to Egypt in February, into February, beginning of March, and I had to come home because of world events and our government saying that we had to leave Egypt. And I sort of evacuated through Turkey, but that wasn't the same as getting to actually go and be in Turkey. So I have some decks to show from that trip, and I just didn't get those filmed. I'm working on those, and my partner proposed to me while we were in Russia. So I have also been planning a ceremony, a commitment ceremony with my beautiful partner. So that has been very exciting. They, yeah, it's been a lot. So up and down and mixing, family blending, and also this loss and shepherding my adult children through the grief of losing a parent. And I will tell you that I have not lost any parents. My parents are both still alive, and my stepmother is still alive. So I'm very lucky for that. But it has been pretty interesting to try and parent through something, you know, to just be present for my children experiencing something I honestly can't quite imagine. So that's that. But I don't want to leave you on that note. I do want to leave you on this deck that I'm showing right here is called The Lantern. This is by Laura Tempest Sakroff, and it's through La Panthère. I love this studio, this shop. I'm not really sure exactly how they identify, but I get their emails and I buy some decks from them, and they did this Kickstarter for this deck. But this is a New England folk oracle, and it's it's a set of 2 oracles, one if by land, 2 if by sea. And the Kickstarter is just starting to be fulfilled, and the land deck is out now. The sea deck will come probably, I can't remember, I just did read the update, in September. So I don't think the land deck goes very well with the Folkloric Waters, but I'm so excited for the sea deck. I like the idea of having, right, this folkloric Northern European sort of art deck, and then this other folklore deck, but New England, so which is, you know, this from northeast corner of America. And I think it will be really interesting to look at the sea, the water theme by Laura Tempest Zakroff and put them together. So this is a little preview of a pairing or a addition to the deck edit that I will like to make as soon as I get that deck, and I'm awaiting it. And I haven't seen any unboxings of this arrival yet, so maybe I'll do one. But it's wonderful, and I do think that this deck, I think these are available maybe for pre-order through La Panthère. So, all right, with that, thank you again for being here and watching my deck edit and joining me for a little bit of chit-chat about the context, how I use multiple decks, and what I think about when I put them together. And I will look forward to seeing some more. Have you played with any of these decks? Do you have some more pairings for Folkloric Waters or for any of these? Do you have a certain way that you think of your deck edit? Do you even do that? And all right, so talk to me in the comments. I would just love to hear from you. I'm glad to be back, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will be back in the next one.